song with a fucking beat. Get it like bum, get it hot like Papa John. Make a bitch go on and on.
How's it going, my evil residents? Today we're going to take a look at Resident Evil 2 Remake and find out just how much plot armor Leon Kennedy has. This is the 4th episode in the series, and the 5th about Claire and a couple of others will be up a day or two after this one, so be sure to subscribe to keep an eye out for that one when it comes out if you end up enjoying this one. That said, this video can be watched just fine on its own as well. We're going to tally up every time Leon should have died, his injuries, and how much it would cost in US dollars to treat these injuries. We will also be tallying every time a character survives something out of sheer luck, usually due to the writing of the game. I'll count these by giving out Chief tokens, which are named after the main character of the Halo series, Master Chief, because 1, his main trait is that he's lucky, and 2, I just really like Halo. For this video, I did go through the Leon A scenario, and for the Claire video, I did the Claire B scenario. This is what I understand to be the most canon scenario, given it's most directly referenced in Resident Evil 4. I just wanted to be clear about that so everyone knows which scenarios I'm doing for these two videos. I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the video. First up, right here, after Claire and Leon are leaving the gas station, there's this massive horde of zombies. Each of them, well, in Claire's case, she has about 5 bullets. Leon, he has probably like 4, 5 also, maybe 3. And I don't think they would be able to survive all these zombies if this cop car wasn't here. That has been running for God knows how long. So I'm going to count this as a Chief token because they got very lucky that that cop car, 1, is open and unlocked, and 2, is still running and not out of gas. So yeah, Chief token right off the bat for both of them. But like I said, Claire will be in a separate video. This car gets smacked from behind by this semi-truck going about 30 to 40 miles per hour most likely, maybe even more. This car crash would likely cause a concussion and some sort of whiplash, maybe even a back or chest injury. But since I'm not totally sure, since I don't know the exact speed of the semi-truck, I'm going to lowball this at $15,000. Next up, Leon gets flown by this massive explosion and slams into the back of the car with a destroyed spine, much like Jill was when Nemesis smacked her against the wall. So I charged Jill $75,000 for almost the same exact injury, and I'm going to charge Leon exactly the same amount, $75,000. For this next part, where the security guard is talking to Leon through the security monitor, just hoping to God that someone is there to kind of bargain to go and risk their life to go save him, this smelled a little funny to me, and so I decided to do a little bit of research. First of all, I went over to the area where this took place to see what the security camera looked like, and this is actually the only security camera on the map that matches up with any of these spots. So I guess they figured people would go check this one, but not the other ones, because there's just not one in the next room. So yeah, that's just a little funny thing there. And I looked at the security camera, and it seems like a very basic, like bland, barely textured model. I even put up my brightness all the way to make out any details of it. So the only shape I had for the security camera to work with was pretty vague, but I did find a pretty close match that does make a lot of sense because it is a security camera that was used heavily in the 90s, and it is by Panasonic. It was very widespread, and it was made in Japan, which if you don't know, Resident Evil is developed by Japanese developers. So when they think, oh, retro security camera, that's probably what they think of. It's going to be this one, the Panasonic WV1410 series, this CCTV camera, and I found the manual for it online to see if it could record audio. The answer is no. It has no audio input or output of any kind, only video. You cannot funnel any sort of audio through this thing, not whatsoever. So unless they hooked up a separate microphone system throughout the entire RPD in 1998, that is just magically not here, is just so small that I can't see it in 1998, this is impossible. This is plot armor. Leon should not have known what this guy was saying or what that thing was until going to see him, so I'm counting this as a Chief token. Next up, when the zombie grabs Leon's leg, I'm giving out a Chief token because 1, the zombie didn't bite his leg, and 2, Marvin saved him. So that's a Chief token right there. I charged Leon a similar amount for this in Resident Evil 4 when he fell this height on his legs like this, just out of nowhere when the floor fell out from under him. This would severely break both of his legs, so I'm charging $90,000. That is about the average treatment for 2 broken legs, along with surgery and stuff like that, and cast and physical therapy. So that is why the cost is so high. Same as the destroyed spine from earlier. Most of that cost is physical therapy, but both of these numbers are honestly low balls. I know they seem high, but they honestly are not, from my research at least. Next up, I did some digging into how C4 works because I had a feeling that this was wrong too, and big surprise, it was. C4, when it explodes, is a very dense explosion since it's a high explosive. That means it explodes on the molecular level, and it doesn't make a huge fireball, and it doesn't blast things in a huge shockwave out of the way. Yes, it does make a big shockwave, but that shockwave is not strong enough to push all of these iron bars out of the way. At best, it would maybe cut the beams right next to where the actual C4 is placed.
Bent into a W shape is going to cut this bar cleanly in half. That's right, W stands for whoopah! That is beautiful. Look at that nice clean cut.
Leon is very lucky that this actually cleared the entire hole, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's C4 just doesn't work this way. And after fighting Birkin, Leon is saved by invisible Ada because she drops the ladder for him. Soon after this, in the parking garage, when Leon is distracted by being depressed that he can't escape the garage, Ada saves him from a dog. Later, when you go in to do the clock puzzle with the two gears, the two different size gears, to get the electronic part, Mr. X doesn't go in the clock tower room for some reason. I know it's a gameplay thing, so that it's not infuriating, but why doesn't he go in there? Like, just go in there. You could just trap him in there. Why, Mr. X? This is a chief token, if that wasn't clear. And then when Leon is leaving the jail, he is very, 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 very lucky that there's no zombies in the other section of the jail. Mr. X alone is pretty implausible in this tiny hallway to get past, like if it were like real life. But I'm giving a chief token for this because I don't think Leon should have honestly survived this section, but I don't want to count it as a death because, I mean, he survived it, that's the plot, but it's ridiculous, so he's getting a chief token. I'm going to give out 2 chief tokens for this section. One, because Leon is very lucky that the gas pipe is in place of the crocodile's mouth and very shootable. So he gets chief token for that, and then he gets another chief token for Ada dropping another ladder, but this time she's not invisible. As for this gunshot, I was going to charge a little bit less for this, but then I remembered he is using that shoulder to run recoil for the rest of the night from a shotgun, from a Desert Eagle, from various pistols. That shoulder's fucked, okay? He's gonna need a lot of physical therapy and all that business. So I'm charging $80,000. Physical therapy could cost a lot of money, and I'm lowballing this one a little bit too, but I'm just gonna stick with $80,000. I usually go for about the middle amount for these. These prices could go a lot lower, a lot higher. Depends, 1, if you have insurance, obviously, 2, how severe it actually is, and 3, where you get treated. So yeah, I'm going with about a middle ground price of $80,000. Right here, I think Leon just should have straight up died. He had no way to expect that Birkin was just gonna stab him from the ceiling, and Birkin stabs his spiky hand into Leon's head. So I think this is a death. Leon should have died here. Yeah, I'm gonna charge him funeral expenses, $7,000. That is the average price of funeral expenses without any sort of coverage, and it is what I have charged previously in videos. So here he goes, $7,000. When Leon is in Nest and he has to use the dispersal agent to get the level 3 chip for his bracelet, he's very lucky that all of the materials for the dispersal agent were readily available and mixable, and that he didn't actually have to chemically fabricate anything. It was just there to mix, and he just had to go freeze it and turn on the power. That's generally pretty doable, but if he had to do anything more scientific than that, I think he would have been completely fucked. So he's getting a chief token. He's very, very lucky, and I'll talk about this again on the glare section, but yeah, Leon is super lucky that this lab is very, very automated.
That was easy.
And then here, for the G sample container, Leon is very lucky that Claire got here before he did, because in Claire's scenarios, she opens this with the pendant that Sherry has. And if Leon had gotten here without that, he would have been completely screwed, wouldn't have been able to open it, and he would have been like, oh man, now I'm going to disappoint Ada. So here's another chief token for Leon specifically. Next up, when Leon is running away from Mr. X grabs him and that room starts exploding. There's a lot of very close, very fiery explosions in this one room. There's like 4 of them, followed by a really rough fall. Between the rough fall and all those like, fiery explosions, he would get so many 3rd-degree burns all over his body and most likely break something on the fall. I am super lowballing $425,000 because the treatment for skin grafting for 3rd-degree burns along that much of your body be ridiculous, not to mention the smoke inhalation and physical therapy rehab for all of this. So I'm gonna do a whopping $425,000. Now that is a average number. That is about the exact middle number that this could cost. Could cost way less with really good insurance. It could cost way more. Completely depends on how bad the burns would be. I went with the middle number here of $425,000. Next up, after this, during the Mr. X boss fight, Leon is very lucky that no rubble actually falls on him, because it would just take one of these rocks that's falling to hit him on the head, instantly dead. He'd be dead. Or a vegetable. Either one. So he's getting a cheap token. He's very, very lucky that this didn't happen. And lastly, but certainly not least, Leon is very lucky that this steel beam didn't absolutely destroy him. Look how close it was to hitting him. Dear God. Taking a look at our totals for Leon in this game, we have a total amount of medical bills and a small amount of funeral expenses, totaling out to $692,000. 1 should have been death, and 16 chief tokens where he was just super freaking lucky. The writers loved him, kissed him on the forehead, patted him on the head, and sent him off to bed. And we're going to compare this to Resident Evil 4 Remake, where he had a lot more straight up deaths. 15. He had less lucky occurrences in this game. In Resident Evil 4, he had 28 chief tokens, but in Resident Evil 2, he has higher medical bills because of all those 3rd-degree burns. That single-handedly knocked him above what he endures in Resident Evil 4 Remake. In Resident Evil 4, he had $594,500 in medical fees, and in this game, he had the $692,000. So, if we combine these together, between Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4, he has 44 chief tokens, $1,286,500 in medical fees, and 16 deaths. That's ridiculous. And in the next video, we're going to compare all of these numbers between him and Ada, and then we will also go over Claire's and just compare and contrast all these. Obviously, Claire's are going to be lower because I'm only going to be covering this one game, just not in Resident Evil 4. And we'll also throw Jill in there. Since we covered Jill in Resident Evil 3 Remake, we'll also cover her there, and we will go over all of these together in the second part of this video. If you enjoyed this video, thank you very, very much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you disliked it, feel free to drop a dislike, but please do tell me why in the comments so I can work on making my content as good as possible. We do also have channel memberships up on the channel if you'd like to support me directly and see your money go a little more directly back into the channel. Say a more direct thank you. I would greatly appreciate it. We do also have a Discord. I will leave the link to the Discord in the description if you want to talk to me, other evil residents, if you want to post some cringe with all of us. You are totally welcome to. Sometimes I ask stuff about videos there. Feel free to join up, or if you want to play some Resident Evil with some other evil residents, it's a great place to do so. That's going to do it for this video, and yeah, stay evil, my residents. See ya in part 2, coming out in a couple of days.